Vote 2014. While candidates are traveling across the state trying to gather votes in the last few days of campaigning, many say they're hearing a lot about the gridlock in Congress.
No matter where voters lay the blame, if Republicans take the Senate, theoretically, things could be a lot different in D.C. Fox 28 News reporter Kevin Barry explains what might happen if Iowa sends 2 Republicans to the Senate. Kevin.
Scott and Tiffany, Iowa hasn't had 2 Republican senators since the mid-1980s when Tom Harkin beat incumbent Roger Jepson and then served alongside Chuck Grassley for nearly 3 decades now. But now, a second Republican from the state of Iowa in the U.S. Senate could make a big difference.
In Washington, if you want a friend, get a dog.
For representatives trying to get legislation through Congress, a dog might be their only option.
And we've passed over 400 bills, almost all of them on a bipartisan basis, that are sitting on Reid's desk, waiting for the Senate to act.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says he and Reid co-sponsored a bill together, and even that can't see a vote.
It's the Democrats in the Senate refuse to pass anything, and when they bring up something, they refuse to even talk to us about compromise in the middle.
But Senator Tom Harkin says just look at who's been doing all the filibustering.
It's been Republicans in the Senate who filibuster bill after bill after bill and don't allow us to even bring them up for a debate.
Regardless, recent polls give a slight lead to Ernst, who could fill one of the 6 seats Republicans need to control the Senate, giving the GOP the entire legislative branch.
Is it payback for ramming the Affordable Care Act through?
Well, I think that thoughtfully they will go in, put pieces of legislation on the president's desk that makes sense.
Governor Perry says that means fixing health care and walking back federal agencies like the EPA that he says have overstepped their boundaries. It would also mean for the first time in decades that a state both major parties can agree is fairly purple has senators from the same party. Harkin says he and Chuck Grassley don't always agree.
But when it comes to Iowa, we work together. And so he works his side, I work my side.
And he says because of that, Iowans have benefited. The most recent polls do have Joni Ernst ahead by just a few percentage points, but Democrats say they feel like they're better at the ground game and all the work leading up to, in the days leading up to an election. They hope that's the difference that puts them over the edge.